for things. Let us solve this time dilemma thing. All the time loops that ever were. Alright, last time. Okay, why are we no working controller? Ah, my therapist told me to write letters to everyone who's hurt me, then burn them. I've done that. Now what do I do with the letters? Oh, running D&D. Sounds like a fun time. Okay, for some reason my controller just isn't working today. That's fine. This is all supposed to be visual novel anyway, so it'll be okay.
Well, what should we do? What about the X door?
And how exactly should we open it? Unless 6 people die, it's gonna stay closed. Or should we start killing each other now?
Mira?
I mean, if you wanted, Mira.
I have an idea.
Which is?
We're going to shift, all of us, together.
Hey, hold on. Like jumping to another history?
But Eric and
I'm sure it will be fine. Remember what I
Hey,
said? Human consciousness may be a result of quantum effects in the brain.
Oh, yeah. You said if certain conditions are met, we can also...
what are the conditions?
First, you need to be exposed to danger. And the other one is to be in the vicinity of a group of shifters.
I get it.
We'll resonate, and then Mira and Eric can...
But which history are we going to jump to?
None of the similar histories will work. One team is likely to be dead after the vote.
And we can't shift if there are no bodies for us to jump to, right?
Yeah, so we all have to be in one where we all lived.
We need to jump to where all of us are alive.
When we're all alive?
Do you mean...
The heads or tails vote at the beginning?
The history, where we won the coin toss.
Okay.
Minutes until explosion.
I'm not sure I get it all, but it's a good idea.
What are you saying? There's no way we could do that.
Why not?
Shift isn't simply jumping into bodies in different histories.
Our consciousnesses swap places. Ours for theirs.
We'll be forcing our other selves into these bodies, and they'll die without knowing why.
Yeah, and what's wrong with that?
What?
Serial killer.
Well,
Doesn't seem
they're
any
all
problems
living
with
without a
that.
care off in another
Shocking.
history, yeah? One time, they do the coin toss once and win? Don't you think that's unfair?
Mira, you're saying they, but we're talking about ourselves here.
Well, we should consider if those people really are us.
Good point. If we assume that we here are the true versions, then the us in the other history are essentially strangers. Even more of a reason not to.
If we shift to that history, then we're tossing the others under the bus to save ourselves.
The us in that history have done nothing wrong. I mean, the only thing they did was win at a coin toss.
You could say the same for us. The only thing we did was lose a coin toss. Even so,
I mean, among
we've
other
had to go
things.
through so much shit. We've been forced to put our lives on the line.
Besides, aren't the bodies in the other histories ours anyway?
Then why should we second guess ourselves?
Leave it to the serial killer and her simp to who are not
We're out of
normally
time.
shifters to just
I'll
skip
say it
right over
again.
the ethical implications.
We
of all
have
of
two
this.
choices. We can stay here and wait for our deaths, or survive by sacrificing our other selves in another history.
So that's what that bastard meant. The final decision game.
Does that also mean there's an ancient version of Phi floating around, or did she die somewhere in the intervening hundreds of years? Hundred years, not hundreds. Oh, well, let's don't shift first. Let's all die. Ah, there we go. I was gonna say, did it actually blow up? Or was it all just a trick? No, it all blew up. But this way, the world doesn't get Radical 6. Only way to be sure. Alright, are you gonna work now, controller? No. Even switching to Microsoft controller does nothing. Perfect. I love it. Oh, hey. Bunch of achievements flipped through. Okay. So I guess the only thing that's left is going back to the coin toss, right? But I don't... Let me go find my flowchart again here. Okay, yes, we're gonna go to the final decision. There's got to be more after this, because for one of these true endings,
5 minutes until explosion.
And
there's quite a lot of
The history.
like normally the true endings are hours long. This one feels very short in comparison. Alright. Let's kill our other selves. Let's go. Payoff 2. Nevada Desert decom.
Damn, I can't remember anything.
Me neither.
Neither can I.
it somehow feels like I made a bet with someone, but
Someone?
What kind of bet?
Did we all forget what happened?
Massive
Hey,
light descends from the sky.
Could I ask all of you something?
What is the difference,
Who
Hannah?
is this kid?
Yep. Ha. I mean, we all survived, but I'm also still not sure where this puts us.
Did we do it?
It doesn't.
We're not wearing the bracelets, so I don't know the time. But
Judging by the position of the sun, it's probably noonish.
And the date?
How would I know?
Hey, Mira. Eric. Do you remember me?
Yeah.
I definitely remember you.
Do you also
And we
remember that
really
Mira's the
did.
Heart Ripper? And
Well, it must have
Eric is
worked.
probably going to get 86
Life
here
is
shortly.
unfair. Don't you think?
Oh, hi, Delta.
You bastard.
17 years ago, a snail traveled down a narrow path in the park. If that snail hadn't been there, perhaps all of you here would have lived a completely different life than you did. Just one small snail, and everyone's lives, even the world, changed.
So, what's the big deal?
Ugh, would you just quit
Why
talking
is he
nonsense?
so obsessed with the one snail?
I'm so glad you were safe.
Of course we were. You all have shifted in from another history.
Whatever. We gotta call the cops.
And what exactly will that accomplish?
Isn't it obvious? We're throwing you in the slammer.
And my crime?
Murder.
Murder? I see.
Everyone's still alive.
But I haven't killed anyone. Specifically, in this history, not a single person has died. I strongly doubt the police would listen.
But in the other histories, you...
Did you not pay attention? I don't have the ability to shift. The only reason I know anything of those histories is because I mind-hacked you. In effect, the me you know is a different person than the one before you.
Like, not in all the fundamentals, though, right?
Can I be charged for killing someone in another history? If so, then I'd say this world would be full of criminals of all kinds.
It's like Minority Report.
What about conspiracy to commit?
Yeah. I'm betting this history's got a bunch of dangerous machines and gimmicks all over the shelter.
Unfortunately, I have removed them all. You've slept for quite a while. Nothing is left in the shelter. No transporter, no quantum computer. Loaded into a truck and taken away.
There's no quantum computer.
Sean is able to move right now
Okay, I
due
was
to
gonna say.
radio signals received from a satellite. Why? Aren't you happy? I say again, in this history, not a single person has died. Phi and I exist, and there will never be an outbreak of Radical 6. There is only a bright future ahead for all of us. Is this not what you'd call a happy end?
I mean,
But according to you, all of mankind will die if time passes and nothing is done.
Religious fanatic, a terrorist attack that sparks a nuclear war.
I heard this story. You said you released Radical 6 so that you could kill that person.
The me before you did not say that, but I can't deny it's true.
Radical 6 won't spread throughout the world in this history.
so it's gonna get nuked
That means
instead?
That fanatic guy won't die.
Wait, so now humans will go extinct?
Hey, where's that happy future you mentioned?
Interesting. Does that make you angry, Phi?
What?
If so, then we have a serious contradiction. I had prepared a future in another history where 2 billion would survive. But yet, you decided to jump to this history. That means you chose a future where humanity goes extinct. Over 6 billion dead.
Oh no.
No, you're wrong, Delta. Nothing in the future has been determined yet. We'll shape the future with our own hands.
Why don't you just tell me who the
You
fanatic
said
is
something
and we'll
I can get
take care of
behind,
it.
Carlos.
I think so too.
I agree,
Okay, me too.
Mira.
You're right. The future has infinite possibilities.
I mean, it
If
does.
we work together, we
Especially
can
under your
accomplish
multiverse
anything.
theory.
Humanity's gonna die out?
There's a bunch more choices to be
Screw
made.
that.
We'll definitely change that horrible future.
What's so funny?
Just that.
What the hell do you mean?
I'm sure I told you in another history that my motives are complex. Imagine, what if none of you had experienced the events that occurred in the shelter? You're so determined now to change the future. One of the goals of all of this was to get
Yes.
you into
Oh,
that
the
frame
constant
of
death.
mind.
Put you in the right frame of mind.
It's
Yes,
all
yes.
going according to plan, without a single casualty.
I mean, there were casualties.
Created a future where
technically.
mankind will be saved. Does that upset you? Are you angry that your life was played with?
Mildly.
Very well. I will give all of you one last choice. With that gun there,
You could have given it to
you
Eric.
will be able to choose whether to kill me now or allow me to leave. I promise I won't use mind hacking on you. You are free to decide.
I mean, if you wanted to be shot, you give the
Which
gun to
shall
Eric.
it be? Pull the trigger, or let me go. The fates of you, me, and mankind are all on the line. This is the decision game.
The gun looks tiny in Carlos's hand. Oh. Oh, is that it? Okay. So all of this was just a motivational exercise so that we would go hunt down said fanatic and fix the world. Yes. Sure. I feel like there has to be more. Like, this isn't just supposed to be a trilogy. Like, there's the last piece that wraps things a little bit tighter. Maybe there's a post-credit scene. Well, maybe. Yeah, it definitely feels like I'm missing the next step. Because Delta's not the guy that made Free the Soul. Was he? I lost track of a few things. Yeah. Sigma came away with a girlfriend and a grown daughter. And Junpei and Akane. He doesn't get to turn into Ted Myoji. And Eric gets his heart ripped out by Mira a week down the line, but that's fine. It's totally fine. That is a good question. When did this come out? Well, I believe it was on the 3DS, so... The 3DS, PS Vita, and Microsoft Windows in 2016. As of December 2021, it's no longer available for purchase on any Nintendo eShop. Okay. The third and final installment. Okay. Okay, let's look at the endings here. Oh, there are epilogues. Okay. Okay, that I'm tracking that. Well, that's weird. Okay. Yeah, so he's not free the soul. He must not be. So they're supposed to stop the religious extremists from causing war without releasing Radical 6 to do it. Oh no, they're a terrorist with aspirations that dwarf free the souls to wipe out all humanity. The identity of the terrorists, as well as their potential method for wiping out all of humanity, is unknown, according to the wiki. It is also unknown if they even exist. Lovely. I like the music in these games. Coin side. All sections cleared. Thank you. I mean, there were supposed to be epilogues. Where said epilogues are, I don't know. I'm a little confused. Where are the epilogues? How do I get to the epilogues? Okay. It doesn't really say. Let me see. Epilogue files. Oh, they're files. Okay, okay. What are my controls? Move the cursor, change team, select the fragment. That's the save screen. I guess I have to be in something for the menu? Let's just see. There we go. That's what I was looking for. All right. So I'm guessing post payoff. Oh, they're not even videos. Okay. Hey Mira, how are you feeling? Are you lonely? Come on, Eric. You visited last week. Eric smiles wryly and reaches out to Mira with his left hand. Mira does the same, and their hands with matching silver rings align on either side of the plexiglass window. I brought a new guest to see you today. Eric shifts to the side, and a head pops into view. You're... Hi, Amira. Long time no see. It's Sean, right? Yep, I'm happy you remembered. Behind Mira, the sun is shining through an iron-barred window, lighting up the visitor room. It's been a long time, Sean. It's good to see you. The smile that appears on her face is real. Mira no longer needs to plaster on a fake one. When I heard you turned yourself in, I was really surprised. Eric was the one who convinced me. He said I should pay for my sins so we could be together. So that's why you got married in jail. Eric ducks his head shyly. Are you sure you're okay with this? Mira asks. He looks at her in confusion. Don't you regret marrying me? I did carve your heart out in another history. Isn't that what you said, Sean? Yeah, you did. Eric looks Mira straight in the eye. I've already told you this a bunch of times. I forgive you, no matter what happens. Besides, you haven't killed me in this history yet, right? Yet. Maria's lips twist wryly. But the Heart Rippers killed people already. So many. But the Heart Rippers killed people already. So many. Sean, stop it. Eric turns angrily on Sean, and Mira's face falls into a frown. But Sean continues speaking. You turned yourself in, Mira, but that doesn't mean you've paid for all the crimes you did. I doubt the family and friends that were left behind would forgive you, even if you were put on death row. There's no way you can clear your sins here. Yep, can see what you're typing. Mira grits her teeth. But there is a way to clear them. Well, not what you've already done, technically. You'll have to pay for those your whole life. That will never change. But maybe you can in another universe. Oh my god. Okay. Suddenly, Sean's fist crashes through the plexiglass window. Ah! Mira jumps backwards while Eric is frozen in shock. What are you... Eric can't even finish speaking before Sean moves. Jumping through the broken window, he kicks the outside wall of the visitor room, causing it to crumble and reveal a giant hole. An alarm immediately starts blaring and the police officers rush into the room, but Sean darts forward and takes them all down in the blink of an eye. He holds his hand out to Mira. Let's go. Go where? I know where the transporter is being stored. You're saying we should go change history? Eric finally stutters. Sean nods. To stop young Mira from committing murder. Mira, I'm pretty sure that's the only way you can clear your sins. Mira stares out through the hole in the wall at the horizon extending beyond. Let's mess up timelines even more! Yay! Alright, let's do Akane and Junpei. Junpei sits upon a white sofa somewhere within the secret location of Crash Keys, twiddling a pen and sighing. What else should I say? Laying on the table in front of him is a half-written letter. Suddenly, Akane pops up behind him. What are you doing, Junpei? She playfully teases. Ah! Junpei dives for the letter, but she snatches it from his fingers and begins reading. Let's see. Carlos, without you, Akane and I would have never gotten together. Thank you. Is this an invitation to the wedding? No, it's most certainly not. He makes a grab for the paper, but Akane quickly moves it out of his reach. It's just a progress report, Junpei mutters. Okay, yeah, I mentioned the wedding, but the date hasn't been set yet. I made a promise to you and your brother. We wouldn't get married until we've dealt with the fanatic. Akane's face flushes bright red. She hastily hides her face behind the letter and goes back to reading. I'd like nothing more than to get the approval and blessing of our old friends and those of you we met 6 months ago. Eyes wide, Akane glances up at Junpei. He avoids her gaze, awkwardly scratching the back of his head. You know, there's a history where I keep searching for you, even after I'm old and craggly. It still exists out there somewhere, and when I think of that... A sharp pain jolts through Junpei's face. Akane is pinching his cheek. Ow, that hurts. What are you doing? To prove to you that this isn't a dream, Akane giggles. You still can't believe we're together like this? Junpei shakes his head. You've changed a lot, Junpei. Half a year ago, you were never this honest. It's like... How do I want to describe it? Like a dream? Huh? Junpei leans in and quickly pinches Akane. Oh, now you've done it. She darts forward and goes after Junpei with both hands, getting in a pinch wherever she can, and Junpei does the same. Once they start laughing, it's very hard to stop, and they keep going until they're out of breath. I guess this is all thanks to Carlos, too. That's why I'm writing that thank you letter. On Akane's left hand, a ring glitters on her ring finger. Alright, speaking of Carlos. The day is bright and clear. A girl in a white dress strolls along the beach, the wind tossing her long blonde hair playfully. Up until a half a year ago, she had been confined to a bed. Carlos's eyes still tear up every time he sees her smile. Come on, Carlos. Come on, Carlos. You don't always have to help me. That's the point of my rehab. Oh, you're right. Sorry, Maria. Carlos brushes her hair out of her face. It's definitely not the summer sun that's making him act out of sorts. It's the fact that his sister's here standing before him. Somebody's got a sister complex. Maria grins up at him. What would Akane and Junpei say if they saw you being all fussy like this? It's fine. They understand how important you are to me. Both you and Junpei put your lives on the line. That was a different history. But going through that means we know how to treat Reverie Syndrome.
I can't believe we have the ability to jump through space-time.
I'm just glad you're able to control it now. It's all because Carlos met Akane and Junpei that Maria was able to recover. He wishes he could show them just how well she's doing. How about you send him a video message? Like, totally possible.
You're thinking about them right now, aren't you, Carlos?
What makes you say that?
Because you're smiling.
Carlos closes his eyes as his unconscious smile turns fond. They're just about your age. It kind of feels like I gained a brother and another sister.
You are going to their wedding, aren't you?
Yeah, and you're coming with me. But there is something Carlos needs to do first. Back when the three of them parted ways. I'll be waiting to hear word from you when you locate that terrorist. Carlos held his right hand out toward Akane and Junpei, and the other two grabbed onto it with their own. There was no way of knowing if Delta was telling the truth, but if he was, one fanatic would kill off all of humanity. Akane and Junpei vowed to find this person, and Carlos offered to help. He can still feel the strong bond between the three of them, their hands clasped together tightly. I suppose I better get used to talking more before the wedding, huh? Holding her hair out of her face, Maria reaches out to her brother, who takes her hand in his, and they continue walking down the beach. The same blue sky above them stretches over friends Carlos knows he can rely on. Oh, also weirdly predictive of current events. If we consider Putin to be said fanatic. He's not necessarily a religious fanatic, but he's crazy enough. We could definitely legit end the world with nukes. Anyway. Baby Phi was indeed transported from 1904 to 2008, but a Phi also remained in 1904. Whatever happened to that Phi? Rumor is she became a brilliant scientist and worked at a research facility in the US, well into her hundreds. The facility was researching the transporter, and that's where the Phi from 1904 is sent. I guess the hint, the thing there is meant to be that she was adopted by herself. Probably. Audentum forska venska juvat? A phrase from Ovid, it roughly translates to both love and luck help the bold. Okay. Do we not get a Sigma and, Huh. Okay, I guess this is sort of Sigma and Diana stuff, but...
I've always dreamt of coming here. Did you know that Diana is the name of the goddess of the moon? I've wanted to do this ever since I was little, so I'm perfectly fine with dying here.
What are you saying?
I've been able to spend the last 3 years living with you, Sigma. I have treasured every moment.
Sigma lowers his head, and his expression pained.
Please don't make that face. You don't need to be sad. In the year 2074, you will shift back to the Christmas to 2028. And the next day, old me will head to the decom facility in the Nevada desert and meet you.
Diana nods. Sigma closes his eyes and shakes his head. That's not it. I mean, I'm in love with the you. His declaration stops as Diana's lips close over his in a kiss, and the rest of his words are lost. After a moment, Diana murmurs,
"It must be a wonderful future. The future where we found each other. In 2028.
Sigma holds on to her tightly. Aching, heartfelt sobs echo within a cold, silent world. That's sad. Okay, I guess that was the second one. I read them out of order.
This must be fate.
Fate? Diana smiles weakly from the bed at Sigma's question.
Don't you remember? You told me that yourself.
Me? I never said it. If it really was me, then...
Yes, the Sigma who was 67 inside.
Diana shifts her frail hand closer to Sigma, and he gently grasps it between his own. The Sigma before her is not the one who was trapped in the shelter. It's the same body, but a different consciousness. On April 13th, 2029, Sigma was at the headquarters of Crash Keys, his eye and arms replaced with robotic ones. There, the young Sigma returns to his body from 45 years in the future and begins to carry out Akane's instructions. How many years has it been since you came here, Diana?
A little over 3, I think. I followed you here in May 2029.
A violent coughing fit takes over after she speaks. Sigma helps her sit up and softly pats her back until it subsides. Why didn't the medical pod work?
I told you. It's fate.
Diana's skin is deathly pale, but her eyes still shine with life, just like a child's. Okay, so that's when she died before. Gab letter. Yeah, there's nothing that's like everybody else afterwards. I guess Sigma and Diana just went somewhere. And this is the inciting incident, the murder 17 years ago. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess they went to the moon. Somebody found the, I assume somebody found the fanatic eventually. But, so it sounds like Mira somehow had an actual change of heart and magically lost her psychopathy. Turned herself in. Sean broke her out. Sent her to the past to convince her young self not to kill people and basically get rid of that whole inciting incident with the whole snail thing, I guess. Sure. That'll make an interesting future, but I'm sure it's still one that ends with the fanatic killing everybody, so yay. Akane and Junpei are getting married. Carlos saved his sister. And I assume Phi is living with Sigma and Diana. And they are also helping the Crash Keys stuff, trying to find this person and also setting up for the potential future loop again. You know. Just in case, gotta make sure we can all shift back down the proper loop. You know, the loop squiggle. Oh. That is Zero Time Dilemma. I really was hoping it would have a more expansive ending. It did not, but that's okay. It kind of felt like maybe they were leaving it open for there to be another one. But I guess there was never made another one. But I also, like, I guess I get why they're leaving the ending ambiguous. It's just weird to me because I expected it to be way longer. Like, the other ones took actual hours to get through. This ending was almost shorter than some of the endings in 999. But, yeah. I feel a little bit like, Q right there. Hands on my head, like, oh my god, brain. I enjoyed the gameplay concept of this one. It was kind of neat, the jumping around and focusing on these smaller segments. I think it's easier to work with in a lot of ways. But, you know, it is what it is. Alright, well, an hour. That was all that was left. Probably should have just finished it last week. Oh well. What that means, though, it's time for Batman. So, I'm gonna get that set up real quick. I did have a Papilla that desperately needed food, or she was gonna starve. In a very overly dramatic way. She probably would have tried to eat the